about 20 or 30 minutes ago, Gatwick Airport reopened and some flights have taken off and others have landed. That's after almost 36 hours of the airport being closed due to unauthorised and some are saying rogue drone flying near and around the airport. The police still haven't found whoever is responsible for it. So today I just wanted to give my thoughts about drones. I think there's been a lot of negative press about them within this last couple of days, and I just want to say it's not some moron with a Mavic Pro, it's not some opportunistic idiot flying his new toy around Gatwick. It's someone who's doing it for a purpose, to shut down the airport, to become a nuisance, and they've obviously ruined Christmas for quite a lot of people. There's been kids who haven't been able to go to Lapland to see Santa. There's people who aren't being able to get home back into Europe and around the world for Christmas. But I use my drone, my Spark, for making these vlogs better. I'm a photography vlogger, and that's what I do. So using my Spark responsibly, out of the way, helps make my videos that little bit more interesting. It gives different angles, aerial perspectives of mountains, of valleys, of trees, and I probably don't use my drone to its full capability. I always keep it quite close nearby. As I say, I fly it quite sensibly, but this person or persons who have disrupted Gatwick Airport, they're doing it intentionally, and it's not some over-the-counter bought online drone like this, like many people will be getting for Christmas. You've got to think Christmas is 3 or 4 days away. So many of these and other drones will have been bought for kids and for hobbyists. It's not a hobbyist that's doing this. It's not someone just out there flying for 36 hours trying to get a good shot of a 747 on Gatwick Airport runway. It's someone doing it deliberately, trying to become a nuisance, and obviously grounding lots of planes, tens of thousands of people disrupted, the police getting involved, the army getting involved. It's like GTA level 5. It's crazy, and they have achieved obviously what they wanted to set out and achieve, because they haven't yet been caught. But the airports are back open, so hopefully that will bring a little bit of resolve to people's holidays and trips and getting home for Christmas and that kind of thing. But even though I did a quick Google search, I typed in drone, and so many of the headlines on the news pages were anti-drone laws in the UK, which I'll get onto in a minute. But as well as that, I put a few headlines on the screen now, but as well as that, in the past 24 hours there's been some great drone news. I'll put a couple of those headlines on the screen as well. Delivering vaccines to poorly kids on an island miles away from like hospitals and stuff like that. So there are positive sides of drones. So I don't want people to get scaremongered, because there's a lot of drone negativity already. Obviously people flying them at airports, it's not a clever idea, and I'm not condoning that in the slightest. But drones aren't all that bad. So earlier this year, the government all got involved, and also I want to say that it's nice to be talking about something other than Brexit, but they all got involved, and they came up with this idea that by 2019, November 2019, so about 11 months away from now, all drones over 250 grams, so that will include my Spark, unless you take the battery out and then it's under 250 grams. So DJI might want to make a slimline battery, so this is under the weight limit, will have to be registered, and all operators will have to take an online test / exam type thing, which is great. I think it's needed, because when you look at what's happened in the last 36 hours, it's definitely needed. But I will be looking at I'm going to look at online for other smaller drones which do the same sort of thing as this. Even if they don't shoot in full HD, if they shot in 720, I think that would be enough for my YouTube videos. But I think it's needed, and I think that today's activity and yesterday's news stories and stuff are going to throw everything back up into the air, and within this next 11 months things will change, and it won't just be a case of having to sit an online test and register your drone. The thing is, this was 350 quid, 400 quid or something, with all the extra batteries and guards and all that kind of stuff. But buying that for 400 quid and then having to spend £1,000 to be a qualified drone pilot just doesn't make sense. So I think, especially for the hobbyist, I agree for professional drone operators that are operating in cities and they're doing work for industries where they're taking pictures of rooftops and they're doing commercial work, stuff like that. I think that's great. It's worth being registered and getting your pilot's license, stuff like that, for larger drones. But for consumerist hobbyist drones, I don't see that paying £1,000 for that works in any way. So I think the government will look at this differently now this big nationwide news story, which has probably gone global, has happened. The thing is, in America, they have, around all the airports, they have like invisible shields, which if you flew this through it, it would stop it, it would ground it, it would send it back to where it took off. Obviously these things they can be hacked. There are things put in place where it tells you you're not allowed to fly within a certain aspect. It doesn't let you fly close to certain restricted areas, but they can be hacked. But this drone or drones that are ruining Christmas for so many people around Gatwick, they're not over-the-counter things. They're specifically made. It's larger than this. It probably could do some serious damage to an aircraft. I mean, there have been videos and tests done that say that could do significant damage to an aircraft, which it probably could. But me as a hobbyist, I'm not flying near airports, I'm not flying near aircraft, I'm flying in the Yorkshire Dales, 20 foot above a waterfall, nowhere near people, nowhere near aircraft or anything like that. Sensible, common sense. I think there does need to be probably, and there will be, a rethought about how the government are putting this aviation drone law into place, but I think there does need to be that common sense angle about it as well for the hobbyists and like the drone races and stuff like that. If you buy a racing drone for 50 quid, you shouldn't need to pay £1,000 to become a pilot. So yeah, a few little niggles. I've seen a few news articles and a few different comments. Common sense is where it needs to be, and that needs to be so heavily involved in the future government plans for this drone law that's coming into place. But I hope that the airport stays open. I hope that people get their flights to wherever they're going for Christmas, and they enjoy a good Christmas. And I do hope that they capture this person or persons that have brought an airport to its feet for a day and a half, because it's just not right. It's illegal. And if you fly within a kilometre of an airport and over 400 feet, which are the current drone laws, then you can be put in prison for up to 5 years. So I expect when they do, and if they do catch this person, that they will have a lengthy jail term, because they've done a lot of damage financially as well as emotionally and physically as well, potentially. So yeah, just a little quick video about drones. Just don't get, there's a lot of people that if they saw me using this, they'd jump to conclusions that I'm doing this, that and the other. But I'm just trying to make my vlogs a bit more interesting and capture some different angles for my audience and my subscribers, and for my personal reasons as well. I'm not flying this near an airport. I'm just trying to capture different angles for my videos. So don't be scaremongered into what the news is always saying, because a lot of it is nonsense. But as I said before, at least we're not talking about Brexit and the shambles there. We're instead talking about the shambles with Gatwick Airport and the police not being able to find someone operating a drone. Anyway, that's it for today. Please like, subscribe and comment if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next one.